Hi folks, I'm going to be demoing how to use ArcGIS Online to publish maps. And what I'm going to do for starters is go through a little bit of ArcGIS Online as soon as I turn the music down. Okay, so this is our Shasta College GIS ArcGIS Online account, and you all should have a login at this point. And so you can view my content for the maps that you generated. You can also go and look in the gallery, and when you're going into the gallery you might want to look at the most recent published maps. If you've published something recently, it'll come up in here. And so we have a couple projects that students are working on, a few things from the GEOG 9 class that are showing up here. But when you're going to generate a new map, you're going to choose the Map tab, which takes you into sort of this blank slate. Again, this is for your GIS Day projects, and of course you do have the option of doing a hard copy map, but when you get into labeling and all the layout stuff, that's a fair bit of effort, and so I think quite a few of you might choose this option of doing an interactive map. And so obviously, you know, you're going to want to focus in on your area of interest, and I'm interested in doing a map of the Whiskeytown area. And one of the requirements is that you bring in your own or you bring in some layer from outside of ArcGIS Online. And so, of course, you've got a few different choices in terms of the base maps that you can work from. And, you know, you can choose the imagery option if you like. You could choose something like OpenStreetMap if you like. So there's the Whiskeytown National Recreation Area using the OpenStreetMap. And then of course you can also add additional data layers. Now this is going to be kind of scale dependent. There's a lot of things that you can add from, make sure that I'm in view here. There's a lot of things that you can add from ArcGIS Online. But right now what I'm going to do is focus on how to bring in a layer from outside of ArcGIS Online, so that you'll actually need to bring in your own layer. And so we have a lot of data layers, of course, in the data library. And so I've got here Whiskeytown Lake. I've got a hydro layer for Whiskeytown. And so we'll demonstrate how you can bring these in. And so let's take a look at the spatial referencing on this layer. And this spatial referencing information is here. Okay, and so this is NAD 27. So this is a good example for us to bring in, because one of the things that you need to realize is that all of the base maps in ArcGIS Online are in NAD 83, and unlike ArcGIS Desktop, ArcGIS Online does not perform on-the-fly projection. So you have to convert a layer to the correct datum, namely NAD 83. WGS 84 will also work, since those two are aligned quite close, but if you're in 27, you're going to have to convert it. So just a refresher, you can do this inside of ArcMap, you can do it from inside of ArcCatalog, as I am right now, and basically we're going to be running the projection tool, and that's found under the data management tools, projections and transformations, and not the Defiant Projection tool, but rather the project tool. Defiant Projection is only used if you have something that is not currently defined, and you can search it out, or if you're in the window like I am at the moment, you can just drag your layer into this input. Okay, and then it's going to try to put things in the same location, and I'm going to go ahead and change the location. So I'm going to put this out in my documents area, and we'll go ahead and put it in course docs. We'll put it in this folder. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. This is a feature class, and so I'm going to reproject this as a feature class, and I'm going to call it Whiskey Town Hydro. I'll call it 83 just to remind myself, even though it's in the metadata. And then here's your output coordinate system. And so we're going to go ahead and I think our input coordinate system was NAD 27 zone 10. Here's WGS 84. As I said, NAD 83, WGS 84, very close. And so we'll go ahead and use that one. So it'll take a moment to crunch, and we can go ahead and check and see if that came through. There we go. The project command recognizes that it's complete, and so we'll go ahead and check on the result. Okay, and there it is right there. We can preview this thing and see what it looks like. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so now that we've done that, in order to get it into ArcGIS Online, I'm going to have to switch from ArcCatalog to Windows Explorer. And the reason for this is that I need to zip the resulting file. And so when I go out here to Labs and I click on Labs, I'm going to see all of those Hydro 83 files. Remember that a shape file consists of a series of component files. When you're in ArcCatalog, it only recognizes it as a layer, but when you're working in Windows, it'll recognize these component files. And if I say send to compressed, it'll produce, and it looks like it doesn't like the fact that I actually have this selected right now in ArcCatalog. So just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of ArcCatalog, and I'll hit F5 just to make sure things are kind of refreshed. And we can see now that this no longer indicates that there's a lock on that file. So hopefully this time around it'll allow us to send it to a compressed folder, and it does. And now that we have that circumstance, we should be able to add this layer. Now I'm noticing that the add option is not coming up, and sometimes ArcGIS Online will be a little quirky. I was operating in Firefox. Okay, I'm resuming my recording here, and I am trying to address a problem where I was unable to add layers into ArcGIS Online. So I've gone ahead and saved this map, which I'm calling Whiskey Town Demo, and now the add option is coming up. So I'm going to do add layers from a layer from a file. I'm going to browse, and when I browse, I'm going to go ahead and locate the compressed file that I created a few minutes ago. And so if I can remember where I put it. Okay, and there it is right there. So that's what it's looking for, is a zip file. So I'll go ahead and say open. So let me go ahead and go back to that a minute. So it says locate the file you want to import. You can import a zipped shape file with up to 1,000 features in it, a comma or semicolon or tab delimited text file, or a GPX file. Okay, and so this is what we're using. Map is just not playing nice with me tonight. It's a compressed shapefile, and yet it's not cooperating. I'll go ahead and jump back in here one more time. All right, so we are adding in a zipped shapefile, and we're going to do this by choosing the Add Layer from File option, and we're going to browse to our location, and this is our file in zip format. We're going to open that, and we are going to import the layer, and we'll take it slightly generalized here. And interestingly, by default, it used a classification that gave a graduated symbol based on the length, which is something that just really doesn't make much sense at all for this particular case. So let's go ahead. Yeah, so we just reverted back to the original classification, and just kind of a nice test here to see if our datum shift did what we wanted it to do, and indeed that was the case. And so let's go ahead and just the last little bit of time that we have left here, let's go back and just go through that process one more time with another layer. And so what we're doing is we're looking at Whiskeytown, and we're going to pull up some Whiskeytown data. And again, a lot of things that we can choose from. So this one's got the roads, and so again, we'll just check this real quick and see what the spatial referencing of this is, because we want to make sure that we're in NAD 83. And let's see, where's our spatial reference? There it is. And so indeed we're in 27, so we need to switch this. So we're going to go to the toolbox and data management, projections. Okay, I'm going to run through the projection tool again here, since our input data is in NAD 27. We need to be in NAD 83 for it to come into ArcGIS Online, or WGS 84, so I'll use the UTM WGS 84. Go ahead and run this guy. Okay, and put the data in a little bit different place this time. Okay, so there's our projected roads, and again, we want to make sure that we send these to a compressed file. Once we've sent it to a compressed file, we should be able to go back to ArcGIS Online. We should be able to add that layer from a file. We're going to browse to that location. And there it is. Interestingly, I noticed that it doesn't seem to like it when I path all the way to it. I have to select it from the folder. And all right, well, there we go again. It's trying to do a classification, which is just doesn't make sense. So we should probably make sure and at least change the single symbol that we're using there. And we'll see if we can find that. There it is. Here's the symbol. We'll change it. Let's make it red. And we're running out of time, but you get the idea. And